Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. Namaste everyone. Anyone has any question or anything to clarify? Hello Raj.
Namaste Sanjay. Namaste everybody.
Namaste.
Namo Ramana. So nice to see everyone.
Namo Ramana.
I do have a clarification to seek. I was listening to, first of all, happy Dhanteras, happy Choti Diwali to everybody.
Yeah, same to everyone. Yeah, Diwali.
Yes.
Yeah, Choti Diwali is today. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, I was listening to the podcast called Doership is a Curse. I think it is just from last week or very recent one. And there was something that you said, and it kind of immediately registered that I will clarify with Sanjay when I see him next. Is you said something around that even we know and we realize that we are the self. In the external world, we should not say to people, oh, we are the self and this, but we should, you also said something after that saying we should continue to be the actor. So I'm not sure whether this means we should know, but we should pretend in the outside that we are still dual and we are this, or we should not talk about being non-dual, or this is the part I was a bit caught up with, because sometimes I do tend to, especially with my very close friend or my wife, I will kind of try to express what I'm feeling or this. Then I'm like, oh, that means I should not be doing that, So I don't know if you could kind of clarify that for me.
Look, what is our internal position? I still would say there's no need to tell anyone unless anyone asks. Let's say in a satsang, someone who is a seeker, someone who has a question about it. But if you keep saying this Aham Brahmasmi on roadside or in a train, they will definitely will call the CAT team. We call it CAT team, the psych team, which is emergency psych team, which is being called for anyone who is in acute psychosis. So, and look, it does not serve any purpose if we keep saying about anything like that. And the other thing is, it is very clear that there is a Vyavaharika Satya and there is a Paramarthik Satya. Paramarthik Satya is that Aham Brahmasmi, we are all self, we are awareness, nobody is body, nobody is form, nobody is name. And when you go really into the crux of it, there is no one there. There was no word, no people, no situation, no unenlightened, no one suffering, nothing is there. It is all this projection of the mind which is showing things, and it changes, and sometimes it disappears, and then it comes back. And so that reality, if you keep telling people who are not interested, it's not going to make any difference. But it is basically for us only. So we live in this world with Vyavaharika Satya, that you are husband of a lady, father of kids, son of parents, employer of someone, whatever the relationship situation, whatever you are living in, there is a relationship. A jnani is not in any relationship at Paramarthik Satya, at that level where you are abiding in self. You have given up only one relationship, which has led to got rid of all sorts of relationships. That is the relationship with the body. I am the body idea. Because when you don't have an I am the body idea, then how can you have the idea that I am husband, or I am son, or I am father, or whatever? All relationships comes from the body only, isn't it? If this body is not there, there are no other relationships. So all relationships are coming out of I am the body idea. When you don't have I am the body idea, then these relationships of body, because nobody knows us, they only know the body. And they are, whatever they are saying to the body. Even if you see in any jnani like Bhagavan, in his time also people only were thinking that he is this body. And this is the reason that a lot of people started crying when that body was dead. So how much a jnani keeps saying that I am the body idea is the problem, still this conditioning continues. And every relationship comes from a relationship. Like, let's say your wife's brother would be your relation, in your relation as your brother-in-law, only when you are married to her. If you are not married to her, you have no brother-in-law or sister-in-law. If let's say you are not married to your wife and you say him as your brother-in-law, he will slap you. Because relationship is because of something. Now this relationship with your body, if it is there, then the body is born. Body has two parents. Body has other siblings. Body has relationships. Body got married. All comes with the body. The moment your I am the body idea goes inside, you know that I am nothing. I am awareness. I am this energy which is in body, outside body, and that's all I am. This notion that I am the body is ego, ahankar, and it is just an illusory. So when a seeker really questions it all the time, and it does not give any escape route for ego to be there, then there's nothing left. So this practice lasts as long as the problem lasts. The problem gone, practice gone. So contemplate on this truth. And I have to say, we should not even make any concepts that this is what I need to say in front of this or that. That's all our mind, creates, that should I say this to people or should not I? Whatever has to speak will speak. Whatever has not to speak will not to speak. In awareness, even if your conditioned mind wants to say something, it cannot say. No speech comes, as if something has taken over and you cannot speak. Let's say you are a person, some people are very, abrupt, and they say on people's face, and then they say, I call spade as spade, which doesn't mean anything, but they can justify that. Something in you will change your personality, personality will get destroyed. Some power has taken over, so that I no more speaks like it used to speak. So who decides to say or not say, and to whom what to say? Who decides? The conditioning gone, you become spontaneous and you become unpredictable. Only I'll tell you, a jnani is very unpredictable. Because predictable means you behave exactly same in that particular situation all the time. So people know that if I say this, he will say this. Like they have their remote control. Your remote control in others' hand. And somehow, in awareness, you're always fresh. Even you don't know how this body will behave in that situation, even the same situation. And so there is no pre-planning or thought process going on. When you do any big presentations, people think, they plan, they act. We talked about that, I think few
Recently,
yeah. But what I'm saying is that this is the fun of it, that everything is so fresh. Like, let's say you catch up with someone who has created some issues with you in the past, but when you meet that person, you are fresh, without any, though that information is there, that experience of previous is there, but it has no egoistic tendencies, that there is no tendencies driven by that information from the past. And this is the beauty. That is why you are always in your resting state. If you go according to what the mental impressions are, you are a slave. Then you are always predictable. Because unpredictable means that energy, how it behaves in what situation, who knows? I remember one of the persons who runs here, Amritanandmai Ma's ashram in Melbourne. He told me a story that she hugged a person with leprosy and he got cured, and she licked those. But then after that, there were so many leprosy patients went to her. She didn't do anything with anyone later. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that in that very moment something happens doesn't mean it will happen with everyone. Like Bhagavan. Bhagavan hugged Annamalai Swami and he got nirvana. He left whatever work he was doing in the ashram. He started staying in Palaikottu. But he did only with him. He didn't hug anyone else. And so what I'm saying is that how it happens, who knows?
This is something recent, even as recent as last 3 days. I was going for a meeting and I had some intention of something, but I realized there was no planning, no big thing, and I was not tense about it. There was, in fact, I was so okay with that, and I trusted that, and everything went as per plan. Everything went good. Yesterday, I was at the airport and I left the passport in the safe of the room. So the flight had to go. And I was like, okay, there was no second of a charge or like, oh, why and this or anything. And, I took the morning flight and came in. And I'm like, this is so strange. Why am I not upset, or why am I not making elaborate plans and everything? But that energy is not there to make elaborate plans or projections. And so I completely can relate to what you are pointing out to. And yeah.
I think this is the life. We should live life rather than worrying about what next, why this happened, why this not happened. Maybe this is the way, that you try to do things and you are a big failure in that thing. That's the way it is. Accept it, and then it is just like a fun, So many players goes to Olympic Games. There are only 3 medals. What that means? The rest are just fools? No, it's just that's the way things are. You go, you compete, you experience. I think the losers have more experience than the winners. They learn more. You know, it makes you more humble, more down to earth. I think you become more that because of that. This is the reason why a lot of saints and sages belonging to royal families left their kingdoms, left everything, and lived like beggars, just to be humble. So no proud of money or name or fame. It is such a simple, beautiful thing which happens in us. And I have to say, people have confidence in their knowledge, in their intellect, in their ego. But that is with some proud. But here in this energy, you know that there is this guiding principle which is working, and whatever it does, you have surrendered to it, and you believe that whatever steps taken or not taken is the most appropriate way, as if someone else is doing everything for us. And uh, and this feeling as if this thing, we have so much of trust, and it trusts us and we trust. When I'm talking, it looks like duality, that somehow this activity of the body is being surrendered to some higher power which is in us. But that within us is us only. But it looks like there is something has come very intimately to us which was not there. Previously, it was mind and thoughts. Now there is a different association within of this contentment and faith in everything. Actually, I have to say, if you read people's, you know, stories about sages, some will say like this also, which looks duality, that I felt that the God is there with me all the time, because this is such a pure energy which stays with you. And something happens that in us, in an environment where um, it looks like it is lost, you don't like that environment. Whether that environment is, with people or in a party or maybe educational meeting or whatever, some places, on some places also, and some situations also, and and somehow you feel like moving out of that area. It also happens somehow. You just want that at any cost. So things which take away that type of thing in us, we try to avoid that. And there's nothing wrong with that also. I think you're mute, Raj. Do you have any question?
No, I get it. What you're saying is clear for me, and I'm only kind of thinking about how does this help me in uh, balancing the, because if you say I know I'm not the body, then people are talking to me like the body, or they're expecting something from me, like my wife will say, oh, why don't you go get some new clothes, it's Diwali, why don't you this, or why don't you that, oh my, how I look at this new watch, or my friends will say, why don't you buy it? There's some things that generally when I associate with the body, which I used to do.
Yeah. Look, if someone wants you to buy and they are giving a gift, accept it. There's nothing wrong in it.
Accept anything. Gift is not a problem. But like, oh, you are not.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Go color your hair. You are looking white. It's a go. You should look this. You should that. Or some things like that. And I'm just saying there could be something, but that example I'm giving.
Yeah. Look, I think these are minor things, and I think somehow that energy sorts it out on its own. So don't worry too much. Let people say whatever they say. It's all okay. Like today, I'm so busy, distributing sweets in the neighborhood. People are coming. You can hear the bell is going on right now in my house, because people give sweets and, it's Diwali. But that's okay. Everything continues, Someone will receive sweets, so that's okay. So you can't say, look, why do you still celebrate Diwali? We celebrate everything, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Chinese New Year, we celebrate everything. It's all good, all okay. All is okay, all is good. But we should, only one thing which is important is that don't hate anyone and don't argue with anyone. How wrong they are, how on Vedantic principles you think they are selfish. If you feel that, then you should have more compassion for them, because they are complete ignorant fools. They have no clue what they are doing. That's why they are doing it. Otherwise, as Bhagavan says, as all the scripture says, all saints says, that use this body to help others. No other purpose of this body. And I agree with you, this is not to buy $100,000 watch or, wear costly clothes. It is to just help people and whoever around us, because everyone is having that pure awareness as us. They don't know, so they can behave in whatever manner, but we know. We have to respect everyone. Respect and love. That is most important. If someone is angry with you, you hug those people, love them. They don't know, like a kid, a kid can behave in any way. You are father, you know what is right. So you behave. If we behave like them, then there's no difference. I'm not saying in point of view showing that you are higher or someone is lower. No. There's nothing like that. Everyone is equal. Some know, some don't know. That's all. Everyone is a billionaire. Some know their bank account, some don't know.
This gets me to another question, if I can ask. This was also something today. I think I was listening to another of your podcasts, which I missed. That when I have a feeling that, okay, now there is no egoic tendency, I don't want to work for money just to satisfy some accomplishment or some kind of, buying a watch or buying a house or buying a car or whatever. Then you said the best thing you can do in this realization, because the body will continue to work, is to keep to work for others or helping people or helping this. But at the same time, we also say there are no others. Everything is projection of mind. So who is to help who? So, because I realize when I take this thing of helping, okay, I'm in the medicine, I'll make medicines cheaper, I'll make people less suffering and this and this. And that also becomes a mind game. Then it becomes, oh, I'm helping others, and this is also becomes another bondage.
Look, the thing is that somehow if we focus on energy, it does the things in the best possible way. We don't have to even think about I'm helping others or I need to do this. Who am I? I am not even an individual. So if that energy is flowing, that is why I gave you the example of Amma, that one leprosy patient she cured by hugging and, Others, she didn't do that much. So how it happens, our job is only to stay impartial, neutral as awareness and focus there only. And don't give any scope for these thoughts to come and disturb you. They can come, that's okay. But leading to disturbance means we still have something to do with them, because we want things to be like this or that. If we are not interested, then let it be, then just let it be. These thoughts create problem to everyone. Like people who are OCD, they want to do things in a particular way always. Otherwise, if they don't do, they get a lot of anxiety. And say they make sure that they do those things. And doing those things also leads to stress, because it wastes a lot of time in just doing the same act again and again. And they feel embarrassed in front of them, but they can't escape, because these thoughts they believe, and these intrusive thoughts don't leave them. So for a sadhak, it is to understand that these thoughts will keep commenting, whether you become towards enlightenment or going, and there will be something they will be commenting. But understand, they are impure energy. Whatever they say, that pure energy is only silence. So let's be with the silence. Let people say what they have to say. You can't change. We have no authority in changing people's perception about us. Even Ram was cursed. Krishna was, so many attempts to kill Krishna. How many people have attempted to kill Raj? And Krishna, that, avatar, so many attempts from birth, the moment he was born, even before he was born. So, I don't know how many people know. Even in Bhagavan's case, there were multiple attempts to kill him. So, you don't worry what people do and what people think and what people think about you. Our job is only one, what our teacher has said, to stay here. Thank you, Raj. And I always believe clarifications actually helps us to understand that there's nothing in our hand. It is Guru Kripa. It is, and accept everything. If we accepted so much of bliss, we should also accept some beating as well, So it has to be equal. I heard about a saint who used to keep one slipper next to him. If someone used to praise him, after the praise has finished, then he used to hit on his head. He said, I have to equate it, so much of praise on me, so I have to do this on my own. In life, the praise and insult are equal. It balances. It's a balancing act. And it helps us to stay grounded. And in this grounded state only we know awareness, not in an elevated. It's not an elevated state in any other matter. Ego is elevated, ahankar. The Hindi word is so it looks so big. Like it has taken a big akar, a big form. While awareness has no form, it is so humble. No need to show anything. It has no name, no form. And that is why it is in bliss. The moment we want to become something, we lose happiness. More we want to become something, more we are unhappy. But we don't tell anyone. And people think we have got this and this and this must be giving us happiness. But we don't know the way backward. We think if we get more, that might be the way to get happiness rather than receding. Only when there is grace we understand truth. No point in running. Come out of this running belt. This is like a belt, conveyor belt. Everyone is running on it. You jump out of it and just keep quiet. As Bhagavan says, Chumma Yeru, keep quiet. Keep quiet doesn't mean you don't speak. Keep quiet means don't listen to these thoughts. Don't act on these thoughts. Only listen and abide in pure silence. And keep quiet has many implications. Not arguing with anyone, not judging anyone, not being critical about things, not having strong likes or dislikes, and not running for your desires. Just keep quiet. Diwali, what we celebrate as a festival in India, it has a really deep meaning. It is celebrated on the day when it is Amavasya, when there is no moon, on the dark night. And we light up that night with all these beautiful lights. And it signifies that we are all born in ignorance, in darkness. But we have to put efforts to bring this light in our life. And this is the day when Bhagwan Sri Ram, he came back home. It is homecoming for us also. Then only there is real light of all lights we will know. When the Ram is recognized in our heart, that is what it is all about. For most of the people, a festival is having sweets and meeting friends and. But every festival also has a deeper meaning. Even if you see life story of Lord Rama, he followed what Bhagavan always said, Chumma Yeru, keep quiet. He was told by his father that he will be king in a couple of days. He said yes. The next day his father said, you will be going to Vanvas, you will be leaving everything for 14 years. He said yes. No difference. He didn't curse his mother Kekai or did any techniques or was unhappy. He just accepted. As a doctor, when I see patients, most of the patients are elderly. They always, if they have a spouse, they come with a spouse. In that 1 hour of interaction with them, you can understand who is more humble and who is not. It is so clear. Some people are so humble that, they just allow the other person to speak or nag or whatever. And though you know that they are more intelligent, they know the truth, they speak really, but they try to, let other person lead. And after 20 minutes, when all the ego of that person who is speaking is coming downward, then I ask that person, now you tell me something about this problem. And you get the best answer. Because, the person without ego is not the first one to speak, but he is the right one to speak. His words are golden words. Truth comes out of it. Sometimes his silence speaks everything. One day, all of us who are in this satsang, in these bodies, will no more be in these bodies. But one thing, I have a firm belief, if we have lived a life, a true life, without any selfish motive of any sort for anything, we will be in bliss now, but we will be in bliss forever. Because that God is the most unselfish entity. And all the things made by him are also very unselfish. You see, air, water, earth, it only gives us sun. What we give back, if there is no oxygen, we will die, or if there is no water, what we give back to water, or earth, or air, or sun, we can only say thank you, which we never do. We take it as granted, all these most important things in life. We can't live even for a day without these things. And they come free. He gives us. Same he wants from us, that we should be like that. Don't do anything because you will gain something out of it. See how those actions will be then. Rather than thinking about, now I will do business to help others. Just do what you do with your honesty, with truthfulness. And you will start noticing it is a different energy now. You might be selling a small item on roadside, or you might be having a big empire, doesn't matter. It's a change in energy. You can be selling tea. I heard Muji used to sell tea in UK. It doesn't matter. Or incense sticks. Or you can be a billionaire and you might be realized being. When we abide in that pure energy, there is no doership. You don't even think that it is my business. This is the thing. Or I am earning this much, and what should I do with this money? Whatever will come, whatever way things will happen, they will happen in the best possible way. I'll tell you a story about one of the seekers who I think is not sure whether he's listening or not, but he heard from me and went to Arunachala. And there he lost way on the hill. And he found a man whom first he thought might rob him, but he helped him. And then towards that end of it, finally he realized that this man did everything for me almost half a day. And even even spent some money to buy a bottle of water or something. And then he thought that he will give his jacket to him. This is the way we think that. And he said that, I said to him, I'll give you. He said, I don't need anything. And then he even paid for that auto or something. And then he looked around and he could not see him. He said, I couldn't even say thank you to him. And all the time I was suspicious about him. This is our ego, which thinks always suspicious about others and thinks I can help. We think, and the time just goes away. What help? He didn't took anything from him. He only helped him. Sometimes we think too much. Not sometimes, most of the time. We start judging, if a person is poor, then he's after my money, something like that. Even if someone is after your money, how does it matter? We are also after money. I am also after my money. Someone is also after my money. We are same. How does it? We are same, no difference. If someone takes away our money and I'm not after money, then we will not feel bad, isn't it? If there's only one thing and we both are after it, then there is a problem. That actually shows that we are greedy. We can't we can't give some money to someone. Reality can only be known by reality. If ego starts trying to realize reality, it can only confuse itself. First and foremost thing is to stop taking guidance from your thoughts, because that is the individual who is conditioned, and conditioning cannot take you too out of it. It will keep you in conditioning. More you obey your thoughts, less you have freedom. Freedom to be spontaneous, freedom to be unpredictable. You more become like more predictable because people know around you. We all know, people around us. And if you have to write a few lines about everyone, you can say that this person is like this, he will help in this thing, he will not do this. And you can compare these notes with another person who knows those people. They will say exactly, yeah, I also know he's like that. In this way, we all are slave of our conditioning. To break this conditioning, you have to transcend mind. To transcend mind, the only vehicle is silence. And silence is always readily available all the time. We don't have to go anywhere. All thought starts with the letter I. If you drop I and say awareness or beingness or be, don't say I am be, I am awareness. No. Only awareness, only being, only amness. Don't say I am amness. Then that I, that ego also says, yes, I am the body, I am the mind, and I am also awareness. Yes, I know that. I am Brahma. And then the one which you want to get rid of, that actually starts claiming everything. A time comes in a sadhak's life that all these thoughts running around are like orphan, no owner of them. They are haphazard, just coming, going, no takers. That instrument to which they talk is not there. So they are there like orphans. They come and they are not trying, they can't find their friend who was interested in them. By inquiry, it has disappeared because it was never there. And the best tool, best weapon to kill your ego is silence only. We have only two options: to be in thoughts or in silence. When we pay attention to silence, silence is the fire of knowledge in which the ego disappears. The ego disappears. These spontaneous thoughts which keep coming, there is no taker to them because there is no I. Have you seen sometimes ants, they make a straight line. There's a sugar crystal, they are all going towards that. You remove the sugar crystal, they get lost, they are all over the place, and then soon they disappear. All thoughts are on the vehicle of I only. This I goes away, nothing is left. All the actions done by the body are incapable of removing I. All thoughts are incapable of removing I. All situations are incapable of removing I. Only thing which helps to remove I is this amness, awareness, beingness, silence. Attention to that only. And what happens? The one who is never seen, never heard, never touched, never felt, is now seen, heard, touched, everything. That becomes reality which was never seen. And that which is seen becomes unreal. To know God, we need an instrument which is different from the instruments which we are using to know this word. And to gain that instrument, we have to declutter ourselves from this attention to mind, attention to thought, which is always occupied in it, and bring that attention inwardly. Inwardly, you will find silence in your heart. This journey is from head to heart, only of attention to the silence. Mind will revolt, especially people who are very rajasic and less sattvic. It's very difficult for rajasic people who are always busy in action and work. And it is much easier for sattvic people. because they are already cool, calm, and contented. So the Rajasic mind becomes sattvic slowly and gradually. Hello, Robert.
Good evening, Sanjay.
Hello, good evening, Robert. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for the satsang. You just mentioned a term that triggered a question, sadvig. Um, Following the recommendations of Bhagavan, so it's why are eggs, garlic, and onions not sattvic, please?
Yeah, look, spices are also not very sattvic, they are rajasic. Some foods are more. Look, egg is a simple thing. Bhagwan says that egg has a life, So for him, egg is in India, egg is a non vegetarian food. They don't consider it as vegetarian at all. So I have to say, this is one of the reasons that when you can survive on lower conscious states, then why you have to eat a higher conscious state, like in the evolution. Garlic and onion, I have no personal experience with that. I'm not a big fan of garlic or onion, but if it is there in food, I still eat. Maybe to know it, one has to stop eating. But one thing I can tell you, garlic and onion is more used in non-vegetarian food, especially in India, I can tell you. In all these, they use more garlic, lot of onion in those things. But those things create bad smell, must be creating some bad odor in the mind also, I believe, It's a bad smell stuff, garlic and onion. So the thing is that how much you should follow these things. If you want to follow, I would say wholeheartedly, please follow all these sattvic advice, But I have to say, in Bhagwan times, the food was not sattvic which was served. There was a lot of spices. If it is spicy food, it's not sattvic, it's more rajasic. And I believe Bhagwan always used to say, apart from your practice, the second most important thing which helps in your attainment of self is food. So in Hindi we say, Jaisa an vaisa man. How is the food, so is the mood. So food plays a role. If you can eat fresh and more of a whole meal plant-based diet, I think that is the best food for. And the quantity is also very important. If you have sattvic food too much, then you will be sleeping rather than doing any sadhana. Yeah, so I would say in all scriptures it talks about that garlic is not good and onion is not good. And some religions in India, like Jainism, they don't eat anything which is a root. So they don't eat potato, carrot, radish, garlic, onion, ginger, because they think if you eat that, you're killing the plant because it's a root. So they don't eat it. So this time when I was in Tiruvannamalai, when you were also there, I met one of the sage who was a sannyasi, and he said, kindly Ramana Ashram allowed me here to stay for 3 months. So during rainy seasons, these people don't move because they think if they move, they can kill some insects and bugs because everything comes out during rainy season. So they stop moving. They don't walk. And this is in Jainism, Buddhism, and Hinduism. They don't. They stay at one place during rainy season.
Okay.
So, this is all, I would say, signs of compassion. Jainism, they put a piece of cloth in front of their mouth. So they think if the voice, this, air coming out of the mouth when you are sneezing or speaking, it might kill some bugs. So they don't want to kill anyone. They believe in non-violence. So you can go to that extreme also in non-violence, So I would say whatever you can do and wholeheartedly rather than feeling that, it is too much for me. But there's some discipline is always good. I think discipline is very important for a seeker. I think it all helps. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Steve.
Hey there. I'm the kind of person I sort of connect the dots rather than every day being a new adventure. And Nisargadatta said, as you're saying, a quiet mind is all you need. He also said, as you're saying, all else will happen rightly once the mind is quiet. I read that many years ago, and I am that. And this is the thing, it's like, if you ask someone, what do you do? Just be silent, ignore the mind. But what happened was, once I heard that, I thought, well, what can I do on my end other than making space for silence and that kind of thing? What can I do? And what I did was I started writing down. He said also, it is the blank refusal, no discussion, to even consider the convolutions and convulsions of the mind that can take you beyond the mind. And that's what it's like when I have a desire or fear or something in my consciousness comes around. It's like it really, it's telling me this is the most important thing. You need to do this. So I started writing down many years ago, like a journal of what my mind is telling me. And then whether I did it or didn't do it. And like, for example, this presidential election here coming up in a few days with Donald Trump, I said, I really, am tempted to pay attention. I look back to 2016 when he was first elected, and it was the same thing. But then I gave myself like a C for ignoring it. And I have all these other things that happen every day, all these things, and I would just either do it or don't do it. And it turned out that this convinced me. You talk all the time about how you need to be convinced, convicted, have satsang to remove doubt. Doing that thing, for some reason, being able to look back page after page of what my mind was commanding me to do and realizing I really did have a power to ignore it. But I was afraid to exercise that power because I was afraid of being missing something because the mind is very persuasive. So I'm always a little bit surprised that when, if you're talking about how to fix a car, you talk into the mechanics of it and details. But in a thing like this, it's like writing things down that your mind tells you and then noticing the pattern is, I didn't miss a thing. It's like when Ram Dass went away for 6 months and came back, he was able within 2 hours to find out everything that had happened in the U.S. During those 6 months. But in spiritual realm, it seems like doing that thing, nobody encouraged me. I just thought, well, that will probably help me then to see it, rather than every day being a new adventure, to see the pattern. And that helped me tremendously in being able to implement and bring it to my own life, the words of Nisargadatta about ignoring the convolutions and convulsions of the mind blankly. And little by little, I got faith in my ability to do that and that being the right thing to do. So I don't know if that helps anybody else, but and that may be the wrong thing. Maybe it's too much thinking and writing and stuff like that. But that is what I did. And again, I'm just surprised that if I mention this to different groups, they say, well, that's kind of gimmicky and that's kind of, you don't need that kind of thing. But it helped me, So I just want to throw that out there for to help somebody or for discussion or whatever.
Very good. Thank you. When I say attention to silence, actually I'm saying the same thing. Attention to silence only means ignoring the mind. Because how many choices do you have inside when your thoughts are there? How do you ignore your mind? Where will your attention will be? Where? Only silence. Nowhere else. Only silence. All techniques in non-duality are right. Whether you do self-inquiry, you do self-attention, you stay as a witness, you watch ego, you give up I, or you keep quiet. Let mind speak, you keep quiet. I have seen people who cannot stay still for 1 second. Their mind says, do this, and they keep running. At the end of the day, they get dead tired and they just sleep. And then they wake up and then again they run. As if there is no gap between their thoughts and their actions. No space. It's not about good actions or bad actions. It is about only busy in actions. There is no gap. As if they are slave of the mind. In my all understanding about all methods, one method which I have a firm belief which works is paying attention to the silence within. Somehow, when you pay attention to the silence, you start identifying yourself with that silence. And a time comes, then you know that you are that silence. And when you know that you are that silence, your abidance becomes much, much stronger and firm. And slowly, what you were putting efforts to be there becomes your second nature. And because of that, I believe no thought is left, no I is left, that is left. It is a different energy. You cannot describe it. Though that has taken over, but it was always there. That's why you were able to find it. You have not borrowed from outside this silence. It was there. You were never paying attention to it. I would call this silence as Dakshinamurti. I will call this as Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. I will call it as Arunachala. What else would you call it? And I will call it as me. And it is in all of us. you will realize one thing, that if you keep paying attention to that, paradoxically your business can increase, or your job profile or something will, people might think you are putting more efforts in your work, while you are putting more efforts to be in silence, not being a doer. Because of such a purity in it, it will affect everything around you, all relations, all dealings, everything. Purity also leads to success. Don't think that only selfish and cunning people, are successful. Good people also are successful. Once I was traveling from Chicago to New York, long time ago, maybe 15, 16 years or maybe longer. And the flight was quite delayed, and I was just sitting, and this man was sitting next to me. And we started talking. He was some businessman, some big shot from India who lived in US and moved back to India when there was Vietnam War, because he said he was asked to be in army, and he just left US and then started his business. And at that time, the only question I asked him was, in his business, he has to cheat people and do wrongdoings to survive, or can he keep doing his work in honesty? And he said, both ways are correct. He said, if you decide to be honest, you can be successful with honesty. Or you want to cheat people and you want to earn, you can. He said, somehow all your atmosphere becomes the similar type of people. You're surrounded by cheaters, all greedy people, and you all prosper in their own way. But if you take the path of honesty, truth, integrity, then all your dealings are with that type of people. Actually, this is very true. It is very, very true, the way you want to be. When you want to be with the truth, reality in you as silence, somehow all these thoughts, your conditioning just leaves you. The God within you knows that this man is so pure and he wants to be pure. And now this Maya, this illusory mind, cannot make him impure. And then the mind gives up, Maya gives up. And you attain supreme bliss in Brahman. You become one with that. Because understand, to come to the pure, you have to be pure. Don't think that Brahman, your all wrongdoings will make Brahman impure. No, Brahman will never accept you as impure. Do you think all our garbage we can take it to Brahman, which is untainted, uninvolved? We have to be empty. Then only we can be there. So-called corrupt, tainted, and selfish people you think are enlightened, I have to say either our perception is wrong or they are not enlightened. Because enlightened can't be that, can't be impure. It's impossible. You give up this identity, then you know you are that. You don't take impurities with you there. When all the impurities disappear, which Bhagavan calls manonasha, no mind state, then you have darshan, then you become one, then you are that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Happy Diwali to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.